All right, so we're bringing on. So our guest now, he likes other sports. He, I think, was currently Christmas decorating shopping today, but he also does baseball for a living. So can we get our friend here, Tyler Wells, in?
Hey,
there he is.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Tyler, what's up, man?
Oh, as you just said, finished Christmas decorating shopping, and I couldn't put up Christmas lights, so I put a little projector in the front yard just now. So we're all set. We're in the festive mood.
Well, that I can hear the enthusiasm.
Hold on, Tyler. Is there a date for you that it's like way too early to put up Christmas decorations? Like, because like for me, I feel like it's always like after Thanksgiving. Once Santa like comes down the parade, that's when it's like, all right, it's Christmas season. But like I feel as if Thanksgiving just gets blown over with all the Christmas decorations beforehand. What say you?
It's not really up to me.
That's not the right answer. No, it's a safe space.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
I mean, it really isn't though. It's not up to me. My fiance, she loves Christmas. I love Christmas. It's our favorite holiday. We just bought a house, so she's super excited to be able to decorate and do everything. And so we're not mad at it. We love Thanksgiving. We're actually hosting Thanksgiving at our house this year, which is pretty cool. So, I don't think there's ever it's Jesus's birthday. You can't ever be too early for that. It's like, and
That's
if you think it's too early, then a lot of people are going to say that you're wrong.
I just feel like Thanksgiving always gets snubbed because of Christmas.
It does. You don't put up Thanksgiving decorations.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well, and it's two different types of people. It's either, hey, we need to get through Thanksgiving and then we'll put up the decorations, or as soon as Halloween ends, those things are going up. That's what happened. Jamie came back from Pittsburgh with her mom. I'm up here, doing some work, and whammy, 'tis the season. Do you hear what I hear? Or
Mariah
Santa
Carey's getting that check, baby.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Well, hey,
it's our payday.
But if you think about it, right, a lot of the same decorations for Halloween are the same decorations you're going to use for Thanksgiving. You got pumpkins, you got hay, you got all that different stuff. So people pretty much already have it up. It's not we still got the pumpkins, I think, still outside in our, right by our front door. And I got a little Christmas light projector going up. So we're just kind of meshing everything together.
I like it. I think that's the move these days. Everything happens too fast. It's like you can turn the pumpkins around. Like, how they have the faces on them. So like jack-o'-lanterns, turn it around. It goes from scary Halloween to it's just casual Thanksgiving decorations.
Do you do that from experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually what I did over the weekend.
So on brand.
What the hell
That's actually kind of sounds like it's resourceful to be honest.
Yeah,
it does. Like what?
No, that's genius. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was about to say, what the hell are you talking about? But you know what? It's like Alonzo Mourning gift, GIF or whatever, and he's just sitting there like in thought, and you're like, huh?
It makes sense.
It kind of makes sense. Well, hey, I don't know if this makes sense or it makes sense to me, Tyler. We just were talking about how some things you just can't understand and there's more magic to it. I don't think there's a coincidence that the Rangers won the World Series listening to Creed and now the Vikings are playing well. We're creatures of habit with baseball. So, I mean, I don't say you got to like Creed, but there's got to be something more there that we can't explain.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's
Thank you.
I always say, like, it just kind of puts you in a mood, puts you in a mindset and kind of is the vibes, It's like I know for both AAA and for us in the big leagues this year, like a big winning song for us was Ski Yee. I mean, you can't even understand half the song and it doesn't make any sense, but it's just the mood. I mean, it puts you up to where it's like, you're just, all right, let's go. We're winning. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense. And I mean, Rip, as well as anyone else here in baseball, nothing in baseball ever makes sense. And it
ever
just works.
Mm-hmm.
It's the perfect life sport. You need life coaching. Go play baseball. You'll find out.
Yeah. What was your walk-up song that you said? Was it Ariana Grande? And then what?
Well, no.
Selena Gomez.
I did. It was a song that if I never heard it again, we did female pop.
Yeah.
So, but clearly I did something wrong for that because I hit a buck 90 at home. shout out Del Marva. Loved it there, but didn't love hitting it home. Yeah, but you got to do with what works. And then some Calvin Harris worked. And then EI by Nelly worked surprisingly, but and they also didn't bleep it out too in F Town and Frederick. So if this was before they had more, you had to wait on, everything was more timed and pitch mound visits and the clock and everything. There was no violation there, and they just let that thing roll. And it got into talking about what Nelly prefers, and what he prefers might not be for the audience in F-Town, but I had a great time. So, hey, Tyler, I'm glad we're on the same page here. And actually, I believe then Gunner's walk-up song was Sweet Escape for this year. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, I believe so.
Well, yeah,
it just worked for him.
It did.
Very well.
And that's just like, you look at him and you see where he's from and how he talks, and then you're just like, hey, whatever works, dude.
And boy, did it work. I mean, hey, he just got announced as AL Rookie of the Year. Calvin Edward Ripken. Yeah, Calvin Edward Ripken Jr. actually announced it. Believe that. That's crazy.
You ever heard of that guy?
Just met him for the first time. It's so corny, right?
Yeah.
So corny that they made him do it. What? Because it's the last Rookie of the Year the Orioles have had, so they thought we might as well bring him back.
Is it corny? I mean, you are.
Yeah,
corny.
I was going to say,
you're corny.
You of all people should not be.
I feel like this.
Corny?
If there was going to be a moment that Cal Ripken Jr. would be announcing it, it would
Can't
be
go from having Selena Gomez as your walk-up song to calling that corny. It's like not how this works.
All right. Well, you guys can shut the F up here. And Tyler, so hey, talk to us, Gunner, and we all thought it was. You got to see him up close and personal. It was going to happen. But what are we not seeing, or everyone else? I got to see the Gunner at 19, but what was the Gunner you saw this year that no one else could see that you went like, damn, this dude's different?
Oh, man, well, there's a few things. So, especially in comparison to last year, whenever he made his debut and coming up, and you can kind of see, the pressure that he put on himself, but just kind of seeing the growth. Honestly, I don't think a lot of people saw that because. Especially earlier in the year when he was struggling a little bit, everyone could see the frustration for him, and he holds himself to an unbelievably high standard. And, I can appreciate that because I do the same thing, and I think all of us do. So we all kind of understood where he was at, but I think his ability to just have a short memory, dude, he grew so much. And, even whenever he was going through his tough days, he would have a really bad day and then he'd come in the next day and you would never think anything happened. He was the same guy, always had a smile on his face, always talking to guys, very involved in the clubhouse. And, I just think too, the way that he plays the game, I don't think I've ever seen someone play the game is raw is what he does. He sees ball, hits ball, fields ball, dives for ball, slides, get cut up, and it almost seems like he's trying to hurt himself because he plays so hard.
Love it.
I don't think that's something that you see from a lot of guys. He will put his body on the line each and every day. And I think that's what a lot of people probably underappreciate about him. Not that he's just really good defensively, he can hit absolute nukes, but also come in clutch and big hits, but also hold himself to a high standard, be a great teammate. But because the guy literally puts his body on the line every single day to make sure that the team wins. And every single time that I think that he takes the field, he doesn't try to make the big play, but he just happens to be the guy that gets the big play and a lot of the time comes through. And, I really can't say enough good things about him. He's been great, awesome teammate. And I'm just really proud of the way that he's handled the adversity early in the season and then kind of just seeing him grow into, what he did in the second half of the year. I mean, he's been absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I heard you say a bad thing about him in there. So he everything that you heard, and people could say, like, the dude's different. He works hard, and I think that the hardest thing I think that people forget is when you're that young. I mean, shit, when I was that young, I still, even when I wasn't that young, I was getting frustrated. You get mad so easily, and the fact that he continued to grind through it with all the expectations on him, we're all super happy for him. We're also very happy for you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Hey, awesome year, by the way. This was you coming off these injuries, you battling through. I remember talking to you in spring training, and you were trying to figure out if you were going to be in the rotation, if I'm not even mistaken. And then Bradis takes, everything happens. You're thrown into the fire, and you were the Orioles' best pitcher in the first half. I mean, talk a little bit about that, and I got a follow-up question for you, but it felt like you just were in a complete zone.
Yeah, I like to kind of explain it in the best way that I explained my rookie year, right? Just getting thrown into the fire doesn't allow you to think. And I think that, whenever you're kind of just like, oh shit, it's me, like,
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, I don't have time to think. It's like literally that fast. And I think that really worked out in my favor, to kind of start the year, in Texas. And I think it's like the kind of, as that time kind of went on, like it helped with my confidence a lot. I think that this year, was a lot of trial and tribulations because everything in the first half was something I can reminisce on for the rest of my life. Like I thought that I had an all-star caliber first half.
We did too. Yeah, we did too.
And it sucked a little bit, not to get, that nod, but you just move on from it, right? And that's exactly what I did. But I will always say this too, that taking time off, especially like during the all-star break, like that's hard. It does suck because I think I had probably 10 days in between my outings. And that isn't easy to do. It's not. I think that you can talk to a lot of guys and it'll be the same thing. And so, especially too, like not kind of like pitching as many innings as I did in the first half, which was topped what I did the year before, just in one half. I kind of got to a point where like that 10 days really just kind of allowed a little bit of fatigue to set in. But also too, like just a couple of mechanical things that I was kind of out of whack with. And once I got sent down, that really sucked. And that was a really hard time.
Yeah. Can you talk about that for a second? Because I think a lot of people, when they look at that, because your numbers up until that point, every start, you went 5, and then there was that little bump there, and maybe you can touch a little bit on the fatigue and the mental side of it. I mean, if we're just being honest here, you just like kind of like shit. Like it can be a little bit not demoralizing, but the team's playing well. You've had a great year, and then all of a sudden, for these like 3-week period, you did something you hadn't done all season. Can you just talk a little bit about the mental side of that? Just the I don't want to say the struggle of it, but I mean, fact to the better word, struggle of it. Shit sucks. Just put it that way.
Yeah, that I think that was the first time in my career that I basically just kind of was like I questioned myself is the best way to put it, because I knew that there were things that like I needed to work on mechanically. Like honestly, fatigue was there, but it wasn't anything that I thought was inhibiting me to kind of perform at my best. I think that there was some bigger mechanical issues in my eyes that I needed to work on. And that's exactly what I did. Like literally 2 days after the start that I got sent down, like I was in the pitching lab, like I was getting my stuff right. And I think I threw harder in that bullpen than I did the day that I started because of the simple mechanical changes that I needed to make. And, with that being said, with the length of time that it was in seeing the team do what the team did, it was really difficult for me, and especially whenever the team, like I was watching the bullpen guys get beat up a little bit, and I wasn't quite ready to go out of the bullpen in Norfolk. And, Kyle Gibson called me, and, he ended up giving me a lot of great words of wisdom. But one of the biggest things that he said to me that really stuck with me is like, this is God's plan to give you a bigger purpose for these younger guys. He goes, you have been up here, you have succeeded, you have done unbelievably well, and we need you. We're going to need you, especially for this playoff run. But while you're down there, make sure that you don't lose sight that you were one of those guys at one point. And, just do what you can. Do what you can to make sure that you're able to be a guy that they can go to and talk about. Like talk about pitching, talk about mechanics, pitch strategy, whatever. But yeah, the mental side of that all really was really, really hard, because it was the first time, especially all year, where I had really gotten like kind of kicking the nuts in like just of pure like no confidence.
Right, straight shot.
Like
No
it
doubt.
sucked. And it was really hard on me and my fiance too, because she had a harder time, kind of wrapping her head around it because of, just like the understanding of the business. And, I knew why they were doing it. But, I think that our significant others don't always quite understand that. And that's not their fault. It's not our fault. Like, that's just the nature of the business, because me and her had never gone through that. I had never gone through that. So how was I supposed to even know what it was supposed to be like? I just knew how the business worked. And so, it was tough on both of us. And, especially during that time too, we were getting ready to buy a house. So there was a lot of stress on that, on just trying to get back up and pushing and pushing and pushing. And, safe to say, like, it all worked out in the end, but it was really, really hard. And that's kind of where, I always like to say, like, that's where having the guys that we had in the big leagues, like Danny Coulomb, Kyle Gibson, John Means, Cole Irvin, like all those guys kind of pushing me towards my faith and making sure that I'm able to like kind of trust in God's plan and understand like, hey, this is how everything's going to go. And you just got to put your trust in God. Like that helped me a lot, because it just kind of allowed me to breathe a little bit and just kind of reset.
Yeah, definitely people don't understand the business of it. And we talk about it all the time, where it's a sport. It's fun. Like, this is, if you're really good at it, right? You get to do this for a living, and everyone goes, oh, is it really a job? Well, it is, though. The reality is a job. If you don't play well enough or teams make decisions, you lose that opportunity, and it can go away just like that. And it's not the glamorous that you're going to all these top cities all over and over at one point. It changes just like that. So I'm glad that for you and having it, weird veterans again, guys. You hearing
I
this?
was just going to say, isn't that, I think this is what? Interviewed 3 pitchers, and all 3 said Kyle Gibson, how big of an impact he's had.
Stop traffic, that veterans mean more than just the stats. So when we're looking at replace this guy, sorry, Tyler, it gets me going, because I know how much certain guys. Yeah, it does grind my gears, because I know.
Well, you're 100% right.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys that can really help the team in so many different ways than one. And for you, it seemed like this was something that helped you when you're getting ready, when you're trying to transition back. And eventually you did get back up to Baltimore, which I was happy to see. And you got to have a little champagne and have some fun.
Yeah. So, Tyler, you kind of brought it up at the beginning, how you never know what's going to happen. You have to be ready at any time. And I mean, the perfect point of that is early season in Texas. Kyle Bradish is up on the mound, and then suddenly it's, I can go pitch. What was that moment like, of just kind of being there and like, okay, it's go time? Like, did you even think about it, or were you more like, it's just go time?
Well, it's kind of like, it was just go time. It's really kind of hard to, it's really hard to put into words kind of just how fast you flip that switch. You know, we had used the bullpen quite a bit in Boston for the first part of the series or first part of the year, and then you know whenever we were traveling to Texas, like the day before or the day of, I guess technically, when we were our last game against Boston, you know they communicated to me, be like, "Hey, we may need you for an inning. It's been 8 days since you pitched." So if you could throw an inning, would you still be able to start on that given day? I was like, yeah, no problem. So I was prepared to possibly go into the game, you know, but they were like, hey, just chill for right now. Like, you know, we're just gonna, you know, use you in the most absolute emergency as possible. I'm like, okay, cool. And you know, luckily we didn't need to use me and whatnot. So then whenever Bradish, that whole situation kind of happened in the, I think it was second inning, like I told him, I was like, yo, like, let me go. Like, I'm ready to go. If you guys, if you can make it happen to where like we can figure it all out, like I'm there. And so we were all chilling and you know, Hyder was like, hey, we need you. I was like, okay, went in, did a quick warm up, went out to the bullpen, got ready, and then it was, you know, like snapping my fingers, I was in the game and just ready to go. And you know that's how it works. You know, you can't. I think that part of it is, you know, just being the team player. Like you gotta be able to give yourself to the team. And I think this is kind of, you know, how you were describing, Rip, like your opportunity to be taken away from you like that. And these are times where it's like anytime that you get the opportunity to pitch, like you take it. And you know, that's how I am out of the bullpen too. Like anytime that my name's called, like I'm always going to answer that phone if I'm able to pitch. Like I'm always going to be able to throw as long as my arm is probably attached to my body. Like I will always try to do that. And I think that and it's not because I'm of job security, but it's because I want to be a part of every single game and make an impact, whether I'm in the dugout or whether I'm in the bullpen, whether I'm starting, whatever it is. Like I think that we miss a lot of like why we're there. And honestly, like I just love competing. I'm going out there to win a championship with my team. And you know, I'm willing to pick those guys up that, you know, might be, you know, struggling that day. It's very much like I try to take the military you know, attitude towards it because I've always loved Navy SEALs. I've always loved Army Rangers. Like I've always been a big fan of like just kind of how they're like, this is my responsibility, even if it isn't my responsibility. And you know, I was either listening or I was reading a book, and I want to say it was called The Ranger Way by Chris Peranto, who's one of the Army Rangers that was in 13 hours. And so in Benghazi, for those who care. But in his
We
book,
care.
he was talking about how you know, he would pick up his guy's rucksack that was falling behind, and those things are 50 pounds a piece, and he would carry it for him so that way the guy could keep up with the rest of the squad. And like just being able to do that allowed him to graduate Ranger School. And, you know, it made Chris Peranto also better because now you're building camaraderie amongst your team and you're able to, they're going to do the same thing for you when they get the opportunity. Like, that's how I try to kind of approach baseball. I try to approach life. It's like, look, like I'm going to pick you up whenever you need me. But like, if I need you to pick me up, like, I hope that you're also there.
Yeah, I think that's actually kind of brings me to my next point, Tyler. And you might have kind of already answered this a little bit, which by the way, that was great. I love that perspective. But for me, like, you know, and facing that adversity, you saw how, you know, you went from being starting pitcher, going back to the bullpen and what have you. So like, how much of an adjustment was that going from being a starter into the bullpen? Did you carry that mentality with you when you had to make that shift? You know, where do you see yourself next season as far as that's concerned? Are you going to be okay with being in the bullpen? Is it still the ultimate goal to get out there and be a starter and just go 6-7 innings? Where do you kind of see yourself over the next season?
Well, I mean, it's easy to sit there and be like, oh, there's a huge difference, you know, and starting and being in the bullpen and stuff. And there is, but not in pitching, it's in preparation, it's the ability to get your body going quicker, ready to go. And that's really easy to get your body ready to go whenever you're in the big leagues, especially in the big league bullpen. Whenever you're fighting for a job, you're fighting for a AL East championship, and you're fighting for playoff spots or being in the playoffs. It's really easy to do that. So for me, the consistent thing is still the game. The game is always consistent. They say, oh, the biggest jump is from single A to double A, or triple A to excuse me, sorry.
Oh, God.
But like triple A to the big leagues or whatever. Like, I always found it that my battle wasn't so much with like the hitters, a little bit of the umpires, because it always got gradually tighter as you kind of went about your business. But it was really a battle against yourself. You got to be able to go out and pitch. It doesn't matter what position you're in. It doesn't matter if you're a starter, if you're a reliever, if you're a closer. Like, I mean, look at Batista, right? Like, Batista can throw 102 and he throws strikes. Like, and he strikes out the world. Like
the world.
Everybody.
Literally the world. He is a world in himself. He is a large human being, and that's coming from a also very large human being. So,
sorry about that, Tyler. So next question I actually had, and I don't want to steal Zach's thunder too much, but because he does ask the very important questions, but I had one important one myself, and that was that, we've seen, the Jim Palmers and even like Craig Kimbrell that have like iconic, cadences when it comes to windups. Like, what is it about those guys, or even yourself, when it comes to a cadence? Is there a certain point in your career, or as you're like, learning the game, where you're just like, yep, this is my cadence. I'm going to look like a freaking idiot up here, and everybody's going to think that this is awesome. Like, is there a certain point in your career where you're just like, yep, this is going to be my cadence, and like, this is what I have to do exactly like this for forever until my career is over? Is there a certain point where you're like, yep, this is it, or you have to like, it's just something that comes natural?
I just think it's something that comes natural. I think Brian Baker is a perfect example of this. I think the last 2 seasons he's probably had like 4 different like little things that make up who Brian Baker is. I just think that it kind of comes natural and kind of whatever works for you. And then if that is your thing, like, Liam Hendricks, like, I look at him and I'm like, does he really want to scream that much every single time? And it's like,
Yes.
he just does it. Like, yes, that's exactly what he does. But like, you look at Batista, like Batista's cadence is the same way that he is when he's in the clubhouse. He's just like, he's chill. Like, very, like, I wouldn't say rarely, but like not very often would you see him like unbelievably pumped up. Like, he give a couple like let's goes and that's it. But like, people know like that he's just Batista. Like, he's gonna go up there, he's gonna give his 2 thumbs up to Adley and give him a big hug, and he's good to go. So I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, for me, like, I'm pretty mellow a lot of the time, but you give me a couple of big spots, two times that really pop up in my head were whenever I went 7 innings against Pittsburgh, and Santander made that run-saving catch in the outfield, like up against the wall, and I was pumped up then. Like, I was going nuts because, like, to me that was a big moment, and 7 shutout was like that was my new limit, or where I was at. But then obviously, like, whatever, I was able to close out the game to clinch the AL East. Like, that was another one where you just absolutely let every single bit of energy out, and I couldn't speak for like a week after that because I was yelling so loud. And so that's why, like, you won't hear me scream a lot, because once I start screaming, like, I can't talk.
Perfect. I love. You know what? He's
good at it.
Tyler's a screamer. He's a screamer. You heard it here first.
Tyler's a screamer.
I can't talk. You know why?
Yeah, you know why. You know why.
Oh, shit.
What, you got a question there, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Goodness,
No,
let's keep going.
I was just kind of mind boggles.
I threw them
all.
off. So Tyler, they're learning a few other things about me that you've already learned about me. On the Ryan Ripken show, there's more cadences that come out about Ryan as we go too. So they don't even know yet. Whammy, Rocco, what you got?
They'll never know until they get you in a clubhouse. And right now you're still learning.
Hey, well, we're building.
We'll build a clubhouse here.
We're kind of building. You should see the spot when you come back up here. It's a big old space here. We got so much room for activities.
High ceilings, which is a big issue.
Yeah, that was one of the things
NBA
that was
Jam in the background.
Yeah, you like that?
There you go.
We got a lot going on. We got a ping pong table on the other side. Table tennis. We learned that. Dean got scolded on a flight for saying ping pong.
I got made fun of for saying table tennis.
Well,
and then it turns out that's actually how you're supposed to say it.
Rightfully so. We're way off track. Rocco, what you got?
Yeah, Tyler, thanks a lot for joining the show, man. Speaking of clubhouses, the celebrations, not celebration, after the first postseason berth since 2016 and then winning the AL East for the first time since 2014. I mean, awesome celebrations. It's like, for most people, what they see on TV, I feel like what goes on in the clubhouse after that, it really doesn't do it justice being there and being a part of it. For you, I remember speaking to you, I think, the next day after you guys won the AL East. First of all, can you just take us through the conversation you have with John Means? Because for you guys especially, guys that hadn't been there before and many players on the roster hadn't been, that was something special to be able to do that and just enjoy that moment. And second of all, I think it's hilarious when we see the next day after a celebration that guys are quote unquote under the weather. How banged up were the boys after a celebration like that? Because I remember when you guys clinched that first postseason berth, Adley sitting on the top of the dugout with his hood up and he looked miserable and didn't want anyone to talk to him. That's kind of what it looked like.
Oh man.
You didn't know there was a nasty bug.
Yeah, big time.
Nasty bug going to the clubhouse.
12-hour stomach bug that you guys had no idea it hit you like that.
Ran through the clubhouse and got out.
I hate when that happens too. I hate when that happens.
Let me get these are for the boys like Bradish and Dean because they make fun of me all the time. Here's my sparkling waters.
Very nice.
Because
is that Kirkland?
Yeah. They actually got some good ones. I just get them because I drinking a lot of water. Like I'll drink water like while I train and stuff like that. But then whenever I'm at home, I used to drink a lot of soda, and this is kind of what got me off soda. So like I just like flavor. Anyway, beside the point. The conversation that I have with Means. So whenever I got sent down, Means was coming back from his Tommy John rehab, and so we had talked so much about my situation. I think that guy heard me complain more than just about anybody ever, other than Melissa. And, so I'm all like caught up in everything that's going on. And then, eventually, like I said, he had the conversation with me on just kind of like, dude, like let everything play out. Everything's gonna be fine. And, so John's one of my best friends. John's an incredible human being. His whole family is with Caroline and McCoy. And, I've grown super close to all of them. And, the biggest thing for me is like he's always been there for me. We've had conversations about really, really deep, dark stuff like, that I've had to deal with that, especially during those 2 months. And so a lot of the conversation was just like it basically made me realize and kind of elated me whenever everything was kind of going on that it was a full circle moment, especially whenever like I closed out and we're popping champagne and, I finally got the opportunity to spray him because of all the pranks that he got for me for whenever I'm doing the in-game interviews.
Speaking of, we actually.
Pretty much. That's all he does. Anytime he sees a microphone on me, he's like, "Ooh, it's time!" Like, but anyway, he just basically just made me realize it was a full circle moment, and I think it just made that whole situation that much sweeter. And to be able to kind of bring one of my best friends, and he's also going to be a groomsman in my wedding. Like, it's crazy to me to think that, whenever I got Rule 5 over here in 21, like, that at that time, like that was the man, like he was lights out. And then, we grew really close, especially over like the Tommy John stuff, because me and him, I think, have had fairly similar stories in in life and in baseball. And it was always nice to be able to kind of be able to fall on each other, be able to talk about just life, baseball, kind of how we're able to apply it. And and then what was the second question?
The second question was, when fans see a player is quote unquote under the weather
That bug.
after a celebration, I feel like everyone laughs.
Yeah.
I feel like we laugh. I feel like you guys laugh. How banged up were the boys after that celebration, after both celebrations? Yeah,
I think one of my favorite tweets ever, and I don't think I still have it, but it was Eric from Barstool, who's awesome. He was like, this dude definitely sat down in the shower today. I saw that and I lost it because it was just such a great photo. I think everyone like we all had a great time, and I don't like that 12-hour stomach bug really hits you, especially at our team event when we all had pizza. Like all of us had that 12-hour stomach bug for a little bit, but it was
The team
awesome.
party,
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a party. It was a pizza party.
Yeah.
Party.
there you go.
exactly.
There you go. Yeah. Just drank your sparkling water there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was just a little bit thicker.
Yep. Look at that.
And hopefully just as cold.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That's the important.
Is that going to be the new motto? Ain't the sparkling water cold?
Ain't the sparkling water
I
cold.
like that.
Ain't the sparkling water cold.
Ooh, we need that for next year's playoff run.
Yeah.
Well, that would be great. I look forward to that. That'll be a blast. Hey, hey, we'll work on that. We'll talk. We'll have some people talk to some people to get that all said and done. Before we kind of wrap up here, we got a couple. This is the show. We important questions, and this is actually it's been waiting on us for a while here. And Zach is known to be a very hard. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were gonna finish. Okay, Tyler. So I guess I would say I'm the designated serious question asker. So over the past 2 interviews, we've gotten the guys to rank 1 through 3 best hair on the Orioles. So there is a consensus one, which I'm sure you will see where your vote goes, but I will need you to rank best hair 1 through 3.
Well, I think the consensus number 1 is always going to be Dean Kramer.
He's good. He's good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Number 2 and number 3 are hard because they're really close. If we're going, so I'm going to have 2 rankings. Dean is number 1 on all of them.
All right.
With a hat on, without a hat on, Dean Kramer wins. Without a hat, I think Adley's number 2. And then Gunner's number 3. But then with the hat on, Gunner's for sure number 2 and Adley's number 3.
Wow.
Oh, I like how this is being divided because
now I have nothing against Nick Vespi either.
I was just about to say Nick's not going to be very happy.
Vespi is for sure in there, but like I can't pick like the top 5 or top 4. But Vespi's in there for sure.
Yeah, for Dean Kramer, we have honorable mention Mike Bauman, and then for you, I don't mean anything against him, Nick Vespi.
Vespi,
that's a perfect ranking right there.
I was all for Bauman until he cut it.
Yeah, Michael.
That made
Big
me
Mike.
He showed up, and I was like, dude, come on.
He's still a good kid. He's trying to find his way with it. He got a little red.
It's getting there. I saw him this morning. It's getting there.
Yeah, I mean, you got everyone down there. We even talked about that. You got Big Mike down there. You got quarterback academy. You got
Big Cock
Brock's down there working out with it. So we talked about you didn't get a chance to see Brock play this weekend in Jacksonville, but he's tearing it up. I mean, maybe just talk a little bit about how you guys kind of have a little factory down there of athletes.
Dude, so it's unbelievable. It really is because so with where we were at, so whenever I first moved down here, it's because of my fiance, she's from here. And so I talked to Mike naturally because he went to JU, Hayes went to JU, and so they were familiar with the area. And Mike lived down here, trained down here, so he got me introduced to the guys over at Torque Sports Performance. And so for me, like I was like, okay, I don't really know what I'm getting myself into, and it's like it was impressive on the knowledge that they had. And specifically, like Tom and AJ are both the guys that run it. And, Tom and AJ both like they practice what they preach. Like everything that they do is, very detailed, very scientific based, very, Tom is a physical therapist. And so, like, a lot of his stuff is taken from a physical therapy perspective, and he loves rotational athletes. And Mike's, been a client with them for a long time. So they've developed a really good relationship, and now we're all super close. Oh, excuse me again.
Goodness,
That's sparkling water.
Sparkling water.
I know.
A little carbonation.
It's a blessing and a curse, sparkling water.
It really is. It really is. But so my second off season, we got Brock he came in and he was doing his draft combine prep stuff with us, and like we just found out he's a great dude. Like I think that he was like one of the most chill football players we'd ever met, because he honestly kind of took like more of the like baseball mentality into football, which I thought was really cool. And like, he was very like chill with the guys and like just very personable and just a great individual. And so when we all got to see him drafted, regardless of whether he was Mr. Irrelevant or not, like that was great for us because we knew the kind of human being that he was. So then forward, like, and the next year after Brock had done everything that Brock did in his rookie year and just absolutely crushed it, we got to go, we got Anthony Richardson came down and trained with us. And I mean, I'm talking like this dude is the best specimen of a human body that can do sports that I've ever seen in my life. Like explosive, strong, like just did stuff that you were like, how do you even do that? Like, and also an incredible human being, like just super generous with his time, like super relaxed, super cool, like in everything that he was doing, like he wanted to do for his family, for like his faith, and like he was just a crazy, like good individual as well. So as you can see the theme there, like the thing that we love is like good individuals, but like we love training guys and helping them get better. And we got a really good group of baseball guys down here. One of the guys just made his debut this year. I got to see Brock while we were in San Francisco. And, so that was great. So I didn't get to miss him this year, but I did miss this trip up here, unfortunately. But according to Tom, he was saying that it was pretty miserable because it was cold and wet the entire time. But I was like, it's really not that bad. But I've got a few other football friends too that I've gotten introduced to. Quite a few of the Baltimore Raven guys. So
Nick Moore, friend of the show, friend of the program.
Yeah,
he's talking about good dude.
He's great dude.
Awesome. And I actually need to FaceTime him and see how he's doing, because I know
you need to work on that skill set. Texting people back, and hanging out. Just messing.
So this is the worst part for me is like whenever I see 100 text messages on my phone, I'm like, I don't want to, like, I can't.
Oh, I can't get on you that much.
Yeah.
Huh?
I can't get on you because I have 898 unread text messages right now, so I can't.
Hey, you're doing big things.
Here's one thing that I want to comment on what Tyler just said was. I don't know. I don't think Ryan has that many friends, but either way, what I wanted to say was that Brock, you mentioned that Brock was talking about, tying it all back to baseball. It's so crazy. Like we heard from CJ Stroud talking about how everybody wants to be a baseball player. And then Dean Kramer backed that up. And now we have Tyler saying, that Brock was also,
had the baseball vibe.
Yeah. And it's just interesting. I mean, is baseball really coming back? I mean, look,
never left.
Hey, Nick Moore.
No.
Nick Moore was a baseball player, played in the minor leagues with
Right.
the Red Sox.
Right. And so
Yeah.
so I'm
The
saying,
more
just
you
kind of
know.
like it's one of those things where baseball, it kind of like had this lull period, right? I guess maybe it was, I don't know what it was, but it really feels like, especially this last year with the rule changes and all, that it was back this year.
Back.
It like back more than it ever has been.
Hey, baseball's on the way back, and actually, hopefully, it continues this way. And Nick Moore, though, it is cool hearing the stories with him. Unfortunately, with Nick, he's out for the season, Achilles tear, and unfortunately, Tyler, one of those starts that you didn't do well, we'll take blame for that. Nick and I came to the game against the Dodgers. Might have jinxed you. My bad.
Yeah, he told me that, and I got to see him down there. I think after the game.
Yeah.
And like we got because he knows Mookie Betts.
Yeah, Mookie and him are boys.
Actually, Mookie's like roommate in like low A or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
they small world.
He said,
Yeah,
have you
what?
golfed with him?
I haven't yet. I know he's unbelievable.
Dude, me and him,
Nick Moore.
Oh, I was like, isn't
me
Mookie
and
good
him
at
have like
everything?
this thing where we just try and hit it about as far as we possibly can.
Sounds about right.
I will say I'm 2-0 against him on long drive competitions, but he's beat me. I think he's beat me twice by like 2 strokes, maybe. So it's like he's solid. But like I also got to meet through him. I got to meet Jordan Stout, the punter, and then like the center Tyler Linderbaum. And both of them like are also great dudes. Like that's the funny part is like you just sit there and you meet all these guys and like we're all just big children. And it's great.
You're not wrong about that. That's a great way to describe us. In general, it's felt like, especially for you, that's how I felt. And you're just lounging on my couch. We ate everything the night you were over on the couch. We had pizza. We had sushi.
And crush it.
We crushed it. And the Jags came back and beat the Chargers in the playoff game. That was great. And Staley's still the head coach, but that's for a different topic. Hey, before we get you out of here, I think. I love the fact right here. Dog Training Plus, thank you. You all are a bunch of good kids, though, by the way. I'm going to get to his question. Yes, we are. Rocco, you're getting there. But, hey, the question we wanted to get to,
Thanks.
Tyler, if you had to build an offensive line for a team with the starters or relievers, who would be a part of it? Again, hard-hitting questions here.
Ooh, man. Well,
We'll put that back up.
Yeah, that's hard because now I will preface this, like, I don't know all the positions of football. I really got into it once I actually started hanging out with like Mike, training with the football guys here. And then whenever I got introduced to Nick and like, as I had friends in the world of NFL football, I was like, okay, for sure. I need to start learning about it. But as far as big human beings go, I would probably I think.
Got to be Bautista's.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Yeah, but
I don't think you put him at tackle, though. I don't know about his lateral quickness on the outside.
I think I would put Bautista at center.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, he's just got the long arms, can grab anyone, like doesn't really need to move, but the crouching part's a really hard part for him because he's so tall. But I think I would probably I kind of want to go Corbin Burns in one of those. I think Corbin Burns. Are we doing all MLB or are we doing just the Orioles?
You can take it however you want at this point.
All right. So, well, obviously, if you're going to do just the Orioles, it would be me, Batista, Baker, Irvin. And then I would probably throw Adley in there.
No Cano.
I think Cano's more of a, I don't know. If you want to throw him on tight end, for sure.
Does Big Mike not fit in there?
Huh?
Does Big Mike go in there somewhere?
Yeah, Big Mike would too. Because I'm trying to like go through all the guys that are like just tall and broad.
Just big.
And Big Mike definitely fits that mold. So, okay, let me rephrase that here. We're going to go me, Batista, Baker, Bauman, and then how many are on the line?
5.
6? 5? You know what, though? Low-key, McCann.
I can see
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Dude,
I
McCann is a tank. And when you watch him run down the bases next season, just think a freaking unit just charging at you, and it's just pure power.
So some would call that a shit brick house, right, Brad?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is it a?
It is a shit brick house.
It is. That's what I said before. That I like that, Tyler. Hey, we're gonna have a lot of these conversations. The other part of it too is you got to come back up here. We got to make some roost starts at the Iron Rooster too. Kyle and I have been talking about that.
Yeah.
They just came out with a Reese's flavor, so we got to get you up here. We'll get you acclimated.
I miss the Iron Rooster, dude. Especially whenever we're going there and it's just me and you, and you're like, hold on real quick. All right, what's up?
Wow.
Text him back one of his
Damn.
898 friends that he has.
From
Dude,
the
I
rafters.
went with Rip one day, and he's like sitting there, and it looked like he had just gotten done with 12 rounds of Mike Tyson whenever he walked in. He goes, woo! He had to get back to it. He's like, oh, I'm swamped right now. I'm like, well, catch a breather, have some breakfast, eat.
Sick. Tyler, so glad you came on tonight. This was so great.
That was awesome.
Fuck. All right.
This was the
Yeah,
perfect
I
way.
appreciate you guys, and anytime I'll make time for you guys.
Yeah, you better make time now, damn it. All right. Well, hey, Tyler.
You might have to text Ryan a few times because he's got a few messages he's got to sift through.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
don't
well,
worry.
I
that-
want proof of that, by the way.
We'll be talking
Oh, Michael was
about
just
how
going
much
through it.
our fiance spent on Christmas decorations.
Perfect. We're gonna run up a bill on that one. But hey, Tyler, I appreciate you. You can enjoy the rest of your night. Who you got tonight? Bills or Broncos? You watching it all?
I got Bills. Yeah, I got Stephon Diggs on my fantasy team, so kind of needed.
So like, are we thinking Diggs gets over? I don't know. Just like off the top of my head,
68 and a half
80
yards.
yards and a touchdown. Is that doable?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
I would say close.
Oh, he's
to
doubling it.
touchdowns as well.
100.
Damn.
Oh, what do you need tonight?
What did Keenan Allen do the other day? Was it 100?
40, 150, and 2 tutties or something.
Yeah,
Or-
Stephon Diggs can do that.
All right. So 160 and, and a touchdown. You heard it here.
I got Stephon Diggs probably going. I got him probably going about 110, 115 with a TD.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just heard my dog drop his ball.
Perfect.
Where you at?
Tyler Wells, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Wells.
Thanks,
You
Tyler.
go
There he
take it.
is.
Yeah, that's a good boy.
This is how we love to end it.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah, he's my dude, man. He's
Beast.
he's a good boy. He just turned 2 years old now. His name's Buckley. He's awesome. And you know Bark Social over there in Canton,
yeah.
right by Iron Rooster, dude. He is a animal there. He acts like he runs the place, and he's the smallest guy there. Isn't that right?
He knows it. Hey, you know what? Ollie loves that place too. We'll have to get him together. Ollie's going through a big hump phase though, but that's a whole different. We'll save that for a different day.
How old is he now?
He's 18 months. He's a good boy. Sometimes.
Buckley did the same thing. If I could share this video, I would. I got a video of him humping his little thing. It's called a snuggle pup because like whenever it has like a little fake heartbeat, so like keeps him calm and stuff. Well, he snuggled it a little too hard. You know, like got his little floppy ears going back and forth like this as he's humping it and he's on the ground. Oh my God! Here, you guys carry on with the conversation.
You're gonna. Why don't you send me this video?
I will send you this video.
I love that it was
It
Texas,
is
but I wish I could
probably
see
my
it.
favorite video of my dog. It is so funny.
It's a proud father moment right there. Let me show you my favorite. Aren't they good form? Good. Hey, all right. You know what? We're off traffic. We got to get going with it. Hey, Tyler, send me that video. You're gonna come back on here. We're gonna do this again.
Yeah.
Actually, might be coming down for the Jacksonville game. We'll talk about that too. All right.
Hey, you let me know. I'll see you at Big Mike's wedding.
All right, man.
All
All right. All right. Well,
Thank you, Tyler.
Hey, Tyler Wells, everybody.
Hey.
Now beat it.
Jesus Christ.
That was
What just happened at the end of this? I felt like I was attacked. Parker was chilling for a while, then your eyes just
I
got
blew it up,
real
blew it up.
big.
It's
got
funny
excited.
because like we
excited
talk about
about
like segueing into different topics. I feel like there's no segueing in and out of that. Like,
That was
like,
incredible.
we're kind of
When we
that's a
say
tough one to get out of there,
when
man.
we
Ladies
say
and
we
gentlemen,
want
that-
You.
I promise you will not get that kind of content from any professional ball player ever other than
No.
us.
That's fantastic.
there we go. That was incredible.